Hi everyone, welcome to our fourth episode of Questions on Zofy's community. Ivan, you can read the questions and then we will answer on them.
All right. We have a couple of very interesting ones, actually. But these ones are very hot. So, Gabriela, can toxic relationships destabilize even the strongest cores?
When you are truly strong within yourself, that means that you know yourself very well and you can easily recognize who is toxic, who is not, and you know how to pull boundaries. So you will not spend time with those people who are still, I wouldn't say toxic, but I would say they are in not their healthiest era of life and they still trying to figure things. But you are there to protect yourself, and that's why you are strong.
Yes, I understand. But this is a question more for someone who is continuing in this relationship, not necessarily cutting it, but continuing in it.
Then I would say it can shake you in sense of you feeling heavy instead of light in your energy. And the person who is toxic is usually a person who is like very reactive, and it could drain you, the reaction of the person. If someone is not that healthy and happy with yourself, of course it can affect you if it's all the time around you, because you literally need to use all your power and attention to pull boundaries all the time. And usually when we stick for too long in toxic relationship, even if everything is okay with us, we start to question ourselves. Are we doing okay? Is it everything okay with me? Maybe I'm doing something wrong. So I would say it's better, if it's possible, pull boundaries and maybe step back from a relationship that is toxic and just leave the person space to heal. I would say no hard rejection. Maybe in future when person find themselves and start to love themselves more, they will give you in return.
But let's get back a little bit. And how would you define this concept at all? Why would something be described as toxic?
Yeah, I mean, usually people describe something toxic when someone is disrespectful or narcissistic. But what I would say, I don't like word toxic. Lots of people have their good phrases in life and bad. So maybe the person is not in their best era of life and they're struggling with something and they don't know how to handle it. Subconsciously, they're treating others very poorly because those people really don't know how to love themselves. And when someone doesn't know how to love themselves, when they are not caring towards themselves, they can't treat others well.
Okay. And since you used the word unhealthy, wouldn't it be a reasonable thing to do the best to treating the unhealthy?
Okay, I will be a bit hard on this one, but that doesn't mean that I'm right. Mom always told me, Gabriela, if you want to raise someone, make kids.
Race. Okay.
Make kids.
Right.
I was someone who always helping others, and that always drained me so much. What I learned with time, like just leave the space for a person to heal themselves. Have this unconditional love. Of course, give them support, but don't let them drag you in their situation or energy.
Assuming that you have this stability and strong core, it's not really possible to be dragged if you are strong. And then isn't it your responsibility to do the healing?
I'm very stable person. So this is a place where you need to know very well when to put boundaries. For example, you have two people who needs help. One is pretending they are a victim, they have problem and they want you to save them, but they actually don't want to be saved. They usually look like they talk a lot of negative stuff and their mindset is just finding all these negative things instead of having growth mindset that says very logically, look, this is my problem. I don't know how to solve it. I would really like to find solution. Did you maybe struggle with that? How did you solve it? They are very in communication, open-minded. This is a person that I can spend time, talk, help grow. That's very different. And that's not toxic person. That's healthy person who struggle with something and ask you for advice. But person who is toxic person, usually that's someone without growth mindset who's just playing the victim. And what drains me personally is like, I really want to help you. I have all knowledge to help you, and I have all resources and tools that I can give you so you can solve your situation instantly, but you don't hear me. And you don't hear me because you don't want solution. And that's what can drain you. So this is where you should know when to pull boundaries.
Right. I mean, I agree to a certain extent. I would just say that there is a certain responsibility to others, and one should attempt to give their best to do the healing. But as you said, there needs to be some reciprocity and willingness on the other side to accept it.
Yeah.
And that's essentially what I think about this question. But we have another one that is even more interesting to me, and it is, what role does failure play in shaping inner strength?
I think failure is literally playground for make you more strong, more stable. Simple as that. Failure and struggle in general, it's the moment in life where you literally shape yourself and your mentality. You become more strong, more resilient. And that's really the phrase in life where you can collect all these proofs that you can always figure it out, find solution, grow stronger, be more resilient. So I think failure phrase of isolation or waiting season, all of this stuff, I think it's beautiful to have. Without that, we don't grow, you know? And also when we are a bit depressed, also makes you grow, because when you think about solutions, you think about solution and growth when you have problems. But when everything is perfect in life, you are happy, you're just living and being in present and enjoying life. That's not where growth is born. So I think all these like negative things, let's say, are playground for be more strong, have inner stability, make yourself resilient.
I can definitely be a witness to it, like with some personal examples, like as of recently, and as you know, I started doing sales part in the business, which is not one of my stronger suits. And why is not? Because I've always been a little bit withdrawn and not so social. I would say prior to my university years, I had even very pronounced social anxiety that prevented me from even just going to store, interact with cashiers and stuff like that. I would pay other people to do that for me because I was a little bit uncomfortable with that. Now, like at this point in time, I am willing to take the responsibility to do the things that make me uncomfortable. And with that allows me to reach the higher versions of myself and to grow personally. And this is specifically true in sales because there's a lot of failure. Like even the greatest salesmen are having a rejection rates of more than 50%, definitely. Even some of the greatest people who ever did it. Then you can imagine someone who just starting. And like most of the things, most of the approaches can be rejections, but doing it constantly, continuously, and facing this rejection and failure, which rejection in this case would be described or defined as failure, facing that continuously, constantly, first teaches you that it's completely okay, not the end of the world. Nothing happens. Like, well, okay, someone rejected my sales offer. What's the big deal? Like, and continuously doing that just tells you it's okay to fail. And with failure, every failure, especially if you take the time to reflect on it, is an opportunity to improve the skills that are necessary to make you better. And then each other sales call or whatever, this is just a metaphor for anything in life. Like any other future attempt will be a little bit better. And any other after that will be a little bit better. So each failure is an opportunity for incremental improvement. You get 1% better every day. At the end of the week, at the end of the year, you are 30 times or more better. Exactly. Just with 1%.
What means failure? You know, it's just like growth. For example, you have darts. It's first time you playing. Of course, like your thing will go somewhere, maybe on floor, you know. But if you like practicing like 3 months, it will come closer to the center. And after 1 year, you will every time like put in the center. And that's like perfect example of growth and failure.
Well, definitely not every time. Even the strongest professionals are not that good.
But
The point is on point. Yeah.
yeah,
You are much more likely to hit bullseye.
yeah.
Bullseye, the center.
Yeah. Thing is like there's no failure, only practice.
Yes. Practice, or I always like to frame it in the format of challenges, you know. You will fail, it is a challenge. The challenge is to rise from failure. And if you see it as a challenge, it's a fun thing to do. So it's not something to stress about, it's something to take as opportunity and as a challenge to improve. All right. Do we have anything else on this topic?
I don't have.
All right. Me neither. But these are all questions that we selected for today. So it'll be a shorter episode, but it's short but fun. Thank you all for listening and see you in the next one.
Bye.
Bye.